يا لغتي عربية حسبي بأنك منطقي وبياني عربية كربي
How you doing?
My favorite Dawa booth.
And your favorite sheikh, right?
And my favorite sheikh.
Even though I don't call myself a sheikh, but I appreciate the compliment.
You don't?
No,
like
I'm just a student of knowledge, bro.
Student knowledge.
Student of talib ilm.
I can still call you sheikh though, right?
You can if you like, man. And I appreciate the compliment. And before we get into our fun discussions today, I just want to say I heard about your kids and I'm praying for them.
Well, thank you.
May Allah, the one true Allah, bless your kids with full health and you know, make everything easy for you.
Thank you.
Say Ameen, man. Say Ameen. Come on, man. Right? All right. So, since you're here, I caught something interesting. You told me that Ibn Kathir says when in the ayah جعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي, right? Which is that we made from water every living thing, right? And you said Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma said that this is referring to the sperm of a man, right?
No, I quoted a site that said that. If
Right,
you're
right. So
wrong, then
interesting. So that's an excellent point. So this is the actual tafsir Ibn Kathir under the actual ayah. Find me the Darus Salam. It is, yes. Darus Salam is a publisher. You know, understand, right? It's not a person, right? They publish hundreds and thousands of books, different muhakkik, right?
I'm just saying that because I don't have the green edition.
Oh, this is the hardcover. It's 10 volumes, I think. I don't use the English, but here.
No, I've got one also that's hardcover, but it's red. So anyway, that was all
still Darus Salam?
irrelevant.
All right. So this is the ayah, and I looked through the actual book, and I don't find Ibn Abbas radiyan making that tafsir. So what that tells me is all these videos you're making at home in front of your camera, you're misquoting things, and poor people that are watching your videos are being misguided because you don't know enough to actually look up the book, right? I mean, unless you can look up the tafsir and show it to me here. Okay, this is, you were looking up a Shia.
I wasn't quoting Ibn Kathir.
You were.
Abbas. If that's incorrect, you need to take it up with the Muslim websites and say, hey, take this.
That was Ahlul Bayt.
Right. So let me show them that they're incorrect. I'm sure.
Excellent.
Unless you're saying they're liars, then they should take it down. And then we.
So let me explain this. Okay. What we're doing here is that you are going online to websites that you're assuming are by Muslims. You don't know.
Here.
Exactly. So can you admit that Ibn Abbas did not make that tafsir and your accusation was false?
No.
Why not?
Well, I got.
you came here, when I showed you the proof, you're not going to admit it then.
No. If Shias are saying Ibn Abbas said this,
sure.
You're saying I don't have any preference one or the other. I know which side you're on.
Excellent.
So how would I distinguish?
Sure, I will tell you. Right. Because that website, you don't know who made it. So you are going to a random Googled website. Right? And I'm just saying Shia because of the name, right? But whether Shia, Sunni, or whoever, people need to bring you the actual evidences. And if you aren't careful enough to check which website, right now you could Google whether the earth is flat or not, and some website's going to have some weird arguments. And if you're just going off of that, you are misguiding your viewers. You are giving the information that is actually incorrect, that is not found, right? And for
everything. Until I have a reason not to trust them.
Excellent.
Right? Like I could quote this to someone, right. And then someone else could come and say, actually, Darus Salam misrepresented that, and they distorted it, and it's a bad translation.
I got you.
And so if we can't study, Islam like this, then
the difference is it's not an issue of translation. That quote does not exist in the tafsir of this ayah.
I'll take it down.
Excellent. But can you admit?
No.
Why not? I just showed you evidence. I just showed you. No.
If a group of Shia scholars says one thing, a group of Sunni scholars says one thing,
which group
I don't know enough to say, oh, the Shias are liars.
Excellent. But which Shia scholar said that?
They've got the.
You don't know. You just Googled it. You just Googled it. Who made that site?
No, we didn't Google that. We use that site all the time. They've got Jalalain on there.
Who made that site? Who made that site? You don't know. You see this? You see this? He's just looking at. So, but you're using websites. You don't even know who made them. You don't know that. I'm showing you the actual book, and you told me I'm your favorite sheikh.
Look.
So now you gotta listen to your favorite sheikh.
Suppose we go through here and Arabic turns. Someone comes up to me and says, actually, they totally distorted this. I don't know Darus Salam any more than I know.
You see the difference is it's not about mistranslation. It's about the fact. It's about the fact that
could make up anything they wanted.
Excellent.
How would I know until that's?
I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you.
That's why I'm here.
Okay, so let me tell you. When I look up books, including Ibn Kathir, and I have a video on the best prints and things, I actually look up the handwritten manuscripts, right, that have been verified and checked, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't know, for you to make videos sitting in front of your camera at home, making all these accusations, looking up websites that you don't know, but before that, right? So, I mean, you had many videos where you talk about these things and you really have no reference.
Did I use that in the video?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of. Okay, so I'll tell you what. If we can go through and find that Ibn Abbas in no book that can be attributed authentically talks about that ayah in that way, will you at least admit that you made a false accusation if we can prove that?
Yeah, it'd be very simple. You can contact them, ask them where they're getting this. If they don't have a place, they send you a message back saying, yeah, we screwed up, then that's done.
And then David Wood will admit that he made a false accusation and we're good.
I'll admit that I believed a Muslim website.
You don't know if they're a Muslim. You don't know who made that website, so don't make assumptions.
Okay, so it's an atheist website.
I don't know. I don't know. So the issue is these websites, we don't know who made them. You don't know, and I don't know, and I shouldn't assume, and you shouldn't assume. I don't go online and find some website called christiansomething.com and assume.
That's true of everything here. I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this.
As I told you.
If someone shows me there's something wrong, then you can show me.
As I told you, for me, I bring you the actual book, right? I can bring you manuscript copies. I can bring you scans of the handwritten manuscripts. This is what I do. I do takhrij work. I do checking up those. I do tahqiq work. Farid Response, mashallah, he does a lot of this work as well, right? And many other ulama and scholars and tullab ilm, they go and verify all of this. So for you to come and ask us, we would be more than happy, as I'm doing, to show you the actual evidences. So don't go online and trust any website that you go to. Rather, come and ask, and when you find out that you were wrong, don't have so much pride. Be humble enough to be like, my bad, I just looked up some random website that I don't know who made, and some Shia reference to it, that I never looked at a book, or who's the one that compiled it, and I trusted it, and I made assumptions, out of me, right? When you assume, it makes a right? But
you about to say that word?
Nah, I'm not. But you know what I'm saying. All right,
go
ahead, bro.
All right. I wanted to ask you about this time.
Nice.
I have not
Can you bring me the
shared
chair
this with anyone, but I've seen other people sharing it.
All right.
So I just wanted to ask you real quick.
Can you bring me the chair?
My actual question is just about the embryology and how you would translate these passages. But yeah, since everyone's sharing this.
Okay. Who's everyone?
A bunch of people.
Oh,
You've seen people
Go ahead.
this. Muslims who don't like you and Christians who
Man, there are Muslims that don't like me?
There are some. So, my main question was just, is that Photoshop?
Excellent. Okay, so let me explain it to you.
Okay.
First off, you want me to read it or? Let me just tell you about it. Go ahead.
So, someone named Mansour Maliki, who doesn't seem to like you, or me, he doesn't like me either,
okay. Well,
said, so to be absolutely, he's talking to you, he says, so to be absolutely clear, you agree that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought and their women and children enslaved.
Sure.
And you replied, at least according to this.
Sure.
And I don't know, Photoshop, you could post,
I got you, go ahead.
You could post them, I mean, you could ask me, David, do you like mashed potatoes? I say yes, and then you could switch the question to
happens all the time.
Do you torture puppies or something like that? Right?
You torture puppies?
No. See?
I'm glad you don't.
Photoshop, right?
I agree.
So he asks, do you agree that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought and their women and children enslaved? The response here is, of course, and I have already made all of this clear in my durus, but you never reached out to ask me. So
excellent.
The relevant questions would be, is that photoshopped or something, or is there something else in the discussion that would clarify that?
This is on
mine. Saw this a while back, did not share it with one person because I was like, I know I'll be talking to you, so I might as well.
I like
it.
Okay. Good. First thing, there has been a clarification posted on Twitter. I had given up all my social media, right? Which I did not respond to that personally.
You're not on social media?
I am not on social media. Even the Twitter post that you're looking at, if you go to the actual Twitter page, there's a post on there that clarifies that I am not the one who runs the Twitter page, right? I created that Twitter page originally as Abu Kutub just to explain books. right? What I used to talk about is this is the book, this is the best manuscript, this is the best tahqiq, this is the best print, this is this is what's coming up, this is the benefits. When the traffic picked up so much that I couldn't keep up, I gave it up, right? And there was a post posted on Twitter to clarify that, okay? So that tweet was not from me personally, it was from my Twitter account, right? And there were other things done on that Twitter account, like some tweets which I did not agree with, and we made that clarification on Twitter, right? So we clear about that. But if you want to talk about jizya, I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you.
Yeah, sure. So, wait a second. So,
Go ahead.
someone who works for you and controlled this Twitter
Does not
account
work
said-
for me. Somebody who volunteered to take care of the Twitter account made that post, and as I disapproved of it, he deleted it.
So you disproved it. It got deleted.
Yes, and that's why.
So just to be clear.
Yes.
Because I want it clear.
Good. I like
people
clarity.
are sharing this, right?
I know, yeah.
And I think.
And we've already made it clear, but the hater's gonna hate, right? What you gonna do?
Well, I mean, keep in mind, because I found this from experience too. You can say something about me and I can post a response. It doesn't mean everyone pays attention to my response, right? Just like someone can come after you.
Sure.
Not all that person's followers are going to see your response. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate you making this clarification for me.
Okay. So, just to be clear, you do not believe that jizya should be imposed on all disbelievers, and if they refuse, they should be fought, and their women and children enslaved.
No. Right? But there are ahkam and places where jizya is implemented. Not all disbelievers. For example, when you have, I'll just give you a short example, right? For example, if you have Ahlul Dhimma that don't have the protection that's been given, there is no jizya on them, right? If there are Ahlul Dhimma that are not living under your Sharia, there is no jizya on them, right? So that cannot be blanketly used in that sense. That is correct.
Has that been explained to Mansour Maliki?
I don't know who Mansour Maliki is, and if he wants, he can come and ask me directly. He didn't, so that means there's somebody who's just out there trying to cause.
He didn't like either one of us. He said, when he posted this, he said, Uthman Farouk is actually a pathological liar. When with Christians, he'll deny things like offensive jihad and slavery, but when with Muslims, he'll affirm it. Him and David Wood are both vile. So he didn't like either one of them.
So let me wait, hold on. Let me.
He replied. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Mansour.
Mansour is a troll. Nobody cares who he is. But I have no. It's probably some atheist out there trying to be a troll. I don't know. Don't care either. Now, but just a clarification of that as well. I have never denied that there is anything called offensive jihad, right? That's a lie from him, and if he can bring evidence, I'd be more than happy to see it, right? I have never changed my views in front of Christians and Muslims. Everything I say is recorded. Everything I say in the masjid in front of Muslims is recorded and posted. Everything I say to you is recorded and posted. These are just haters, right? These are people of hasad, and that's why they want to, if this was somebody who wanted good for me or you, obviously they would reach out to me and you privately and ask us how we feel, and as we would explain it to them, make that public. But instead, he went and even though there was a clarification posted that this was not from me, and that tweet was immediately deleted when I saw it, even then he continued to post it because these are trolls, right? Islam has rules and regulations for defensive jihad and offensive jihad. There is rules and regulations for Ahlul Dhimma. I have a whole video that I talk about jizya. So for him to say that I changed this is just his ignorance of knowing me, right? So I'm glad you made that clarification for me though.
Now you offered to explain jizya real quick. Is there a short version of it?
Sure.
Okay, what's jizya in a nutshell?
Excellent. So, as a Muslim, we do believe that we have rules and regulations that Allah has ordained upon us, and we do not enforce our religious practices on others, right? So, we have zakat, for example, right? As a Muslim, living in the Muslim state, we have zakat. Zakat goes into Baytul Mal. You know what Baytul Mal is? Okay.
What's that?
I'm here to help you, bro. No problem. I'm your sheikh, right? All right. So, the Muslim government has what is kind of like what you would consider treasury, right? And in Islamic form of governments, we don't have taxes. So all you libertarians become Muslim, right? So what we do have is we have zakat that comes in from Muslims. That is a religious obligation, and that goes into Baytul Mal. And there are certain categories of people and projects that goes towards, which are lined out in the Quran and entire books of fiqh on it. Now we don't enforce that on non-Muslims, right? Like here in America, for example, you pay taxes, I pay taxes, right? But as under a Muslim Khilafah, we don't have taxes. How does the government get that revenue? From Muslims, they get it through zakat. If we were to enforce zakat on non-Muslims, then this would be putting a religious obligation of Muslims on them, and we don't want to infringe on their religious rights. So they have jizya. Jizyas only enjoy benefits from the Islamic government, meaning protection, police service, whatever else. Why you look confused? You're looking all up in the sky.
I'm thinking about
thinking. You ponder upon it, bro. I got you. So jizya is they're paying into the Islamic government's functions for the services they receive. For example, in America, you pay taxes, right? I don't know which state you're in, depending how much taxes you pay, but in California, we pay a lot of taxes, right? But the government says, hey, you pay your taxes, we give you police service, we give you roads, we give you the military, we give you these protections, right? Now, as a non-Muslim living under Muslim rule, you will get those benefits, and as you get those benefits, you will pay into the system. Okay? Now, if we didn't, then it would be a hardship that would be borne only by the Muslims who would be paying zakat, and non-Muslims would not be paying into the government's functions. Right? If, and as it has been during times of Islamic history, that those functions are not delivered, jizya is not taken. There have been times, like during the time of Umar ibn Khattab, where jizya was returned. Right? So this is their taxes that they pay into the services they receive, which I think you would think is fair.
Yeah, well,
I see you nodding.
The reason I was
the reason. Go ahead.
A little inquisitive there. So I was thinking. So Muhammad said, "My livelihood is under the shade of my spear, and he who disobeys my orders will be humiliated by paying jizya."
Excellent.
So he describes it as humiliation. So Muhammad describes it as humiliation. One second, I just wanted to quote.
Take your time. Take your time.
Kathir on the same issue. So Ibn Kathir.
Which ayah are we looking at?
This would be on 929.
929.
Jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace. Allah said, until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam with willing submission, in defeat and subservience, and feel themselves subdued, disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of the Dhimma or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated.
Sure.
Muslim recorded from Abu Hurairah that the Prophet said, do not initiate the salam to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley.
Sure.
And then he goes on to, I know the Pact of Umar is disputed as far as whether that was actually from Umar, I think so. But he goes on to quote,
which pact are we talking about?
The one where he gives the conditions of for the Dhimmi contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're mentioning a lot of things and you're kind of going forward instead of addressing them. So let's go back to
the only issue there was you're portraying it as, hey, it's just payment for services.
Which is true.
You're describing it as you're humiliated, you're disgraced, you're belittled. If you see a Christian or a Jew, shove them down this alley.
That's got nothing to do with jizya itself, but we'll talk about that as well. First thing, can I look at the hadith now that you're trying to so frequently try to get over? Him and his famous websites, man. You gotta buy yourself some books,
This is
bro.
directly from the Dar es Salaam edition.
Excellent. What you're looking up where? This is not from Dar es Salaam. That's a lie. Hold on. This here is not Dar es Salaam's Ibn Kathir.
Guarantee you.
Ibn Kathir.
No, that's not Ibn Kathir.
Oh, okay.
That's Hadith. That's Sahih
So,
al-Bukhari.
okay, excellent. Bukhari. Okay, so let's clarify that because you were pointing at Ibn Kathir, right? So
yeah, when I quoted Ibn Kathir, I quoted Muhammad.
Gotcha. So now let's look at the hadith. جعل رزقي تحت الظل. Right. So this is what you are saying, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the rizq of Rasulullah sallallahu under the swords, right? Now, you know about hummus, I'm assuming.
No, what's that?
Oh man. All right, so I'm glad you can translate the word.
That's Muhammad's livelihood.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, right? And see, you've cut this for some reason, so we don't have that.
Because that's a quotation.
Okay, but there's a reference here with a one there, which we don't know what it says because you cut it.
Look it up.
Okay, cool. So the livelihood of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what's called the khums. This doesn't come from jizya. Okay, that's the first thing you misunderstood the hadith, right? This is why we have al-waw here to show a different subject that's coming up. Okay, the livelihood of Rasulullah does not come from ghanima, it does not come from zakat, it does not come from sadaqah, it comes from what's called the khumus. The khumus would be that if there is a battle, from the spoils of the war itself, not the jizya later, from the spoils of the war, you would take 1/5 of that to be given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so he could then spend it upon the people and upon his expenses and so on, right? So you misunderstood the hadith first off by thinking this is talking about jizya, right? Secondly,
It does say jizya.
I know, but
I didn't believe the first part was about jizya. The second part.
okay, no, you said the livelihood of Rasulullah comes from jizya, which is on tape.
No, I quoted
You didn't say that? I'm glad we got it on
My
tape.
livelihood is under the shade of my spear, and
Right.
he who disobeys my
Right.
orders will be humiliated by paying jizya.
Excellent.
The thing was, you're portraying jizya as, hey, you know, this happy
is.
fun money to take care of you.
I didn't say happy
He says
fun money.
humiliated by paying jizya. That's
Excellent.
what I was asking about.
Sure. Let me explain it, bro. Take it easy. First thing that you need to clarify for your audience is the livelihood of Rasulullah SAW does not come from jizya. Are we clear on that? Now you look confused. You just said you didn't say that, but it's all right. We got you, bro. That's what we're here for. Okay. So the livelihood of Rasulullah. This is the problem with people who don't have enough knowledge to look up references. They take one hadith or one ayah and then they think they know. But I'm glad you're here because we're here to teach you. We're here to wash your misconceptions out. So the livelihood of Rasulullah comes from what's called khumus. Right? That's why you have books like Fath al-Bari. Books like of hadith are not studied in silos, right? This is when you look at all the majmu' al-ahadith and you look at it, right? This and the wow is not to show regarding livelihood. This isn't talking about those that disobey the Prophet ﷺ after the battles, right? Because jizya is only on those that are there. Now, as I said, if Muslims, and we'll look at Ibn Kathir in a second now, right? If Muslims were paying zakat, right? And the non-Muslims were not paying anything, right? Would you agree that that would not be fair?
In a situation where people are benefiting from the arrangement.
Right, and we already mentioned that, right? So if you are under protection of the Islamic State, right? The defense, police, roads, all those services are being given. Muslims are paying zakat, okay? Non-Muslims are not paying anything. Would you consider that fair?
None of that is the point. The point,
No,
the point
it is the
jizya
point.
is the humiliation.
It is the point.
Jizya is the
It
humiliation.
is the point if you would listen,
Okay.
right? So you want to jump because you know it's going to become clear, but I'm not going to let you jump. You're going to be in your place, son. So here, I'm asking you a question. In the Islamic Khilafah, you have Muslims and non-Muslims. You got Muslims paying zakat. Zakat is going to Baytul Mal, which you didn't look up any of those ahadith because you didn't really want to learn. You just wanted to make this video, but I got you.
No need,
Right? Hold
no
on.
need to keep insulting.
No, I'm not
I brought
insulting.
this
That's
to
not
you
an
to let you
insult.
explain.
That is not an insult, right? That is letting you know what you did and how we're going to clarify it, right? So, if you look at the ahadith about zakat, for example, which you didn't look up that bab for some reason, right? Because then you would see that the Muslim he humbles himself, right, willingly, right, by paying zakat, right or wrong, right? So when you pay zakat, and that money goes into the system, and then from yatam and masakin and even non-Muslims that you can give zakat to, as you look at the conditions given in the Quran, and a non-Muslim living there in that society is not paying any of that. Would you find that to be fair?
No, you should be required to.
Excellent,
Again,
excellent,
none of
excellent,
that's the issue.
excellent. It is the issue.
It's the humiliation
It is the
issue.
issue. If you
You
can,
wouldn't say that Muslims are humiliated by paying.
I would say that we are humbled, but willingly.
Humiliated.
I'm explaining. There's a difference, right? If I pay taxes willingly, right, then I am humbled by having to pay taxes. If I choose not to and the government forces me to pay taxes, I am humiliated by them forcefully taking it from me. Correct? Yeah, I got you. So, when you're living in a Muslim Khilafah and the Muslim pays zakat willingly, right? They humble themselves. If not, and this is where you're missing, right? In the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when the Muslims stopped paying zakat, do you know about this? Oh, son, you don't watch my videos, huh?
Wait.
You don't watch my videos,
Over that
huh?
again?
In the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu.
Oh, okay, yeah. When there was the apostasy wars.
So there was the Ridha wars against Musaylim al-Kadhab, but that was a different issue.
They refused to pay zakat, and Abu Bakr said, if they refuse to give me even a rope that they used to give
Excellent,
Muhammad,
excellent.
I'm coming to fight.
We will humiliate them by taking it from them. right? Even though those were people who made salah, who prayed, who said they were Muslim. So what is the humiliation is they were forced then, because they weren't willingly giving it, right? So here in the hadith, it clarifies that as well. As a Muslim, I'm not humiliated with zakat because I pay zakat willingly. If I do not, then the Khilafah will force me and humiliate me by forcefully taking the zakat, because that is the haqq, that is the right of the poor. But Ahlul Dhimma that would not be paying, then they would be forced to pay the jizya, because it would not be fair, as you have already agreed. So that is a humiliation.
So when Ibn Kathir says,
so let's get to Ibn Kathir. Let me read.
Says paying jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace.
All right, so can I? What website is this now? Q Tafsir. You and your websites, man. If you had told me, I would have brought Ibn Kathir, the actual book, the volumes. But this is
as Darussalam.
This is Darussalam's print.
No. That's I believe it's Yusuf Estes' website.
Yusuf Estes has a tafsir site. Okay. Anyway.
No.
So let's go ahead. So go ahead. Where were you?
It just starts at the beginning.
Okay.
So paying jizya.
Until they pay jizya, they do not choose to embrace Islam with willing submission. So what does this show? Right? What does it say? That if they came with willing.
That's just quoting 929.
Right. So that's what I'm telling you, the ayah, right? What is the meaning here?
Allah said, until they pay the jizya,
right,
if they do not choose to embrace Islam.
The next line.
With willing submission. It defines willing submission as in defeat and subservience.
Exactly. So what does that mean? If you are not going to be willingly submitting, then you will be defeated and no doubt made subservient. That's a humiliation, is it not?
That's not what that's saying at all.
Oh, okay. So can you read?
He's commenting.
No. Read the words
okay,
instead of giving your interpretation. You're not Ibn Kathir.
Okay. Paying jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace.
No, you skipped it.
I started at the very beginning.
Okay.
Paying jizya.
This is not for Ibn Kathir. Okay. This is your ignorance again. May Allah give you some knowledge.
This is an example because Darussalam will have the exact same thing.
It will not. It will not. Here is Darussalam. Right? What I'm trying to explain to you, these are titles that have been put in that are not in the actual Tafsir Ibn Kathir. Okay?
They have them right there.
No,
those are the titles.
So that's what I'm trying to. This is, if you get Tafsir Ibn Kathir, Ibn Kathir does not put these in.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fine.
These are put in to give you an idea of where you are.
Okay.
Okay? So that's not the words of Ibn Kathir. I have Tafsir Ibn Kathir in many different prints. I have scans of manuscripts. I'm just trying to help you understand. This here is a title put in, because the way Ibn Kathir works, it doesn't go ayah by ayah, right? It takes a swap of chapters. So the printers, whoever put this in, they put that in. Here, Allah says is where Ibn Kathir begins with, which is the ayah. When you read the ayah, which you were skipping earlier, is the willing submission part.
I never skipped it earlier.
Okay, let's read it then. Go ahead. Read it from the beginning of the ayah.
Allah said, until they pay the jizya,
yes,
if they do not choose to embrace Islam. Right? Notice it doesn't.
Keep going. Keep going.
Choose to embrace Islam.
Right.
With willing submission.
There you go.
In defeat and subservience.
Exactly.
So he's describing willing submission as defeat and subservience.
No.
That's his commentary.
Miskin.
That's the Quran. That's his commentary.
Miskin, you poor soul. I feel bad for you. With willing submission is what they should do. And now Ibn Kathir is explaining that when they do not, that means that they will be defeated. In defeat and submissiveness is then when you talk about the humiliation, when they're subdued because they didn't willingly submit. You didn't understand Ibn Kathir. Go ahead. Now read it again.
The verse of the Quran says,
willing submission.
Until they pay the jizya with willing submission,
right? So
and feel themselves subdued.
Right. So
that's what the Quran says. It doesn't say until they pay the jizya with willing submission, and if they thought, then they will feel themselves subdued. None of that.
Let me explain it again to you, right? Okay. So the first option is for them to become Muslim. Okay. Willingly they accept, right? If they do not, then they will pay the jizya, right? If they do not do it in a way of willingness, if they do not willingly accept Islam, they do not accept this, then this is the defeat and submission, the jizya that they will have to be forced to pay. Okay? So that is, and as I explained, in America, for example, if you, David, would say, F the IRS, and not that you would use those kind of words, right? I'm not paying my taxes. right? And then the IRS will say, oh yes you are, and we're going to take you to court and we're going to humiliate you, we're going to put you on trial, we'll send you to jail if we have to, we will make you pay those taxes because you're not going to do it willingly. So are you not humiliated?
Yeah, I'm just
Thank you. So that is the same.
This is saying.
Okay.
Because notice, I mean, he goes on.
Right, which is talking about the humiliation from those that do not willingly submit. Go ahead.
Wow, not what this is saying at all. This is wait. So let me get this straight. So when he goes on here and he says,
so read the ayah before you go on. The part that he quotes.
And feel themselves subdued.
So what is this tafsir of now?
Surah 929.
No. Ya Allah. Of them being subdued. He's explaining them being subdued. That's the tafsir he's making now. What does it mean to be subdued?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Disgraced, humiliated, and belittled.
That's what it means to be subdued, right?
Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of the Dhimma. Notice it doesn't say people of the Dhimma who rebelled and so on.
Right, but again. No, wait. Context. Hold on. Context. What you're doing is the ayah is talking about those that fought, did not willingly submit, did not become Muslim, and had to be subdued. So that's the Ahlul Dhimma you're talking about. Ahlul Dhimma have different categories, right? Just because he doesn't clarify because of the context, don't assume he's talking about something else. Ahlul Dhimma, for example, those that are given their harbi, for example, those that were actually fighting you, they are those that are not harbi, that were those that supported you. You know about this, right? There's a book, try to get it. It's called Ahkam Ahlul Dhimma Ibn al-Qayyim. Okay? It explains all the differences and things so that you can be more educated with your responses. Go ahead.
So when he goes on to say, quotes Muhammad, do not initiate the salam to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them on the road, force them to its narrowest alley. You're saying that only applies to rebels, not to just Jews and Christians?
No, that does not. Let me explain that hadith now. As you know, that there are times where you can say salam to a non-Muslim. For example, in the Quran, when it says the people of Jahl, ignorance come, qulu salama. Right? That hadith, because you don't know context again, is when the Yahud, there were Jews in Medina, that would say Sam alaykum. They would say, may death and poison and things be upon you. You know the hadith or you don't?
It says Jews and Christians.
I know, but I'm telling you the context of the hadith itself. Okay? So, when they used to do this, in a hadith,
death be upon you or something
yes,
like that?
yeah. You know about the hadith or you don't? You know about it? You don't know about it?
Yeah, the one where they were slurring something. They were slurring something.
Exactly. So you do know about it. You're just trying to hide it. I gotcha. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she responded. She said, "May death be upon you," and she went off on them. Rasulullah said, "Alayki bi fahash." It's upon you. Don't get. Just say wa alaykum. Don't initiate the salam, because when you do, then they may respond to you with something that is disgraceful, right? So just tell them wa alaykum. Don't say wa alaykum as-salam. Don't get upset. In Tafsir ibn Kathir, for example, or in Fath al-Bari, there are different opinions among scholars. Some of them said, if the dhimmi is such, or a person, that they do not curse you, you are allowed to initiate the salam. Other ulama said, no, because of the fear of that changing things, you should keep the salam for the Muslim. This is a greeting for Muslims, which I agree with, right? And if a non-Muslim does greet you, you say wa alaykum. If you tell me salam alaikum, I will say wa alaikum. If you wish peace for me, I will wish it for you. If you wish death for me, then I'll say. Yeah, you don't. I just told you the hadith in its full context. Miskeen, right? So, like you get proven wrong all these times, but you're just like, yeah.
Clarifying.
Excellent.
Your version of Islam.
It's not my version. It is. I didn't make up the hadith for Uthman. You look up the hadith, right? Where Rasulullah said, "Qul wa alaykum." Say, what do you say? Wa alaykum. So even as a dhimmi, even you're not a dhimmi because you're not living in a khilaf anyway, but as a non-Muslim, if you come to me and you say assalamu alaikum with good intent, I will say wa alaikum. If you wish salam for me, I wish salam for you. But if you try to curse me with those words, then I will say wa alaikum, and whatever you wish for me will come back to you.
What about the hadith where Ibn Umar, someone gives him the salam, he says salam, and then he goes away, and then it was told to him that was a Jew or something like this, and he comes back and he says, "Give me back my greeting."
Show it to me.
I'll have to look it up.
Oh, then look it up and then we'll look at it. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Because context, you've already proven that you always take things out of context, maybe out of mistake. I'm not saying about intentionally. So I want to see the hadith and then we can explain it.
Okay.
This hadith about saying salam, you can look it up on Islam QA, whatever, that's the website you're familiar with, and it talks about the conditions where you can say wa alaykum as-salam and which ulama take opinions. And if not, as I said, I have Fath al-Bari, the Sharh Bukhari by Ibn Hajar, he explains it as well, so you can open your mind. So now, when you talk about jizya, if you're looking at it just from the perspective of one ayah, one hadith, this is where you misunderstand the full concept, right? But when you look at it, from the full context of how it's implemented, right? In an implementation, if you are non-Muslim, living in a Muslim land, enjoying the services provided to you by the Islamic government, right? In response for those services, you pay into the system, right? Me as a Muslim, I pay zakat, you pay jizya. Do you see any problem with that? I'm glad you don't. So no problem with jizya. Jazakallah khair. Next.
Oh, problem with jizya.
Oh, okay. You just said you don't, but
I just am not seeing any of that in the source. But what do you think about?
So let me hold on. Let me explain that to you. Okay. Regarding when you say you're not seeing that, which book of fiqh of jizya have you studied?
I'm just
No. I'm explaining this to you. Hold on.
If you go to the Quran and you can't understand it, and you go to the commentary and you can't understand it, and you go to the Hadith and you can't understand it, it just seems like this is not able to be understood.
I got you, bro. Okay. When you talk about learning law, you're talking about Islamic law, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Right? You do not say, as David, that you just pick up one book of law from anywhere and then you will have your own understanding, right? You are not reading a book of implementation of jizya, right? You're not, right? What you're doing is you found these verses, not randomly, you found them.
Here's a verse.
Right, but how did you get to the verse?
Look up Ibn Kathir.
Wait, how did you get to the verse?
Reading the Quran.
You were just reading the Quran randomly and the ayah came?
I have entire Qurans highlighted all the way through.
Tell me the truth. Were you just randomly reading the Quran and that ayah came, or were you
I saw
looking?
This long before I ever actually read through the entire
Exactly.
Quran.
So what you did is you found a verse that you found that you could use to be problematic, and then you hold on. I'm getting there. Right? Then you went and looked it up to try to make this attack on Islam. What you should have done is gone to a book that talks about the implementation of Islamic law, and from the Quran and from Sahih Ahadith they would have brought you the majmu'ah, all of them, to show how jizya works. But you had an intention to take a jab instead of learn. So I'll tell you what, again, we have a book, I'm making an offer here, okay? We have a book called Zadul Mustaqni'. It's a fiqh book that brings then the evidences from the Quran and Sahih Ahadith and Aqwal al-Sahaba and the different madhahib. We are going through it, right? Watch the videos from the beginning with Tahara, Salah, Siyam. We will go over jizya. We will go over jihad, qital, offensive, defensive, all of that, right? With not just one ayah, but looking at all of the ayat, looking at all of the ahadith and the scholarly deduction of ulama, so you can learn.
Now I am going to prove that everything you just said is complete nonsense.
All right, cool.
All right.
Let's hear it.
With Ibn Kathir. So according to Sheikh Uthman,
I like how you're getting all dramatic. Yeah, get with it. Go, girl.
According to Sheikh, I never called this man a girl.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, go, girl. I'm not saying you're a girl.
All right. So, do not initiate the salam to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley. Sheikh Uthman said here in the presence of everyone on video that this is only referring to the people who refused to pay the jizya, and therefore things had to get harsher for them. All right.
Hold on. You made a point. Hold on. First thing, on video you just lied upon me. So I told you that hadith about the salam was not in reference to jizya. That hadith I gave you the full version. but you ignored that, right? Instead,
Yeah, but I asked
hold
you,
on,
you
hold
wouldn't-
on,
you
hold on,
wouldn't do
hold
that
on.
with
I
even if I was a
told you with the dhimmi, ghair dhimmi, that hadith does not mention dhimmiya. You're saying that I said this is about the dhimmi, and I on video.
Ibn Kathir said it's about the dhimmi.
No, he didn't. He was explaining to you the context about the relationship with the dhimmiya. He did not say that it has to be with the
But
dhimmi.
you said this is
Right?
about the people who've refused to pay jizya.
I did
so
not.
That would be the context.
I did not.
No. You're
Elbow.
saying that his commentary here. No,
Hold
I'm not
on.
saying that
So
hadith.
let
I'm
me.
saying,
No,
if you're
I
saying
explain.
that this is about people who've refused to pay the jizya, and he quotes it, then that means he would be in that context. Unless you're saying he's wrong in quoting this out of
Let me
place.
explain this to you a third time.
Okay.
But if you could actually, right now, this ayah was talking about those that are subdued.
Okay.
Past that, Ibn Kathir is giving you general context.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, I made it very clear that this hadith was not about a dhimmiya, but general, and I gave you the reference about the hadith of Aisha radiyallahu anha,
Yep.
and you ignored that.
No.
No. Now,
I thought you were also applying it. I stand corrected, but Ibn Kathir is still going to correct you.
That few minutes of him saying that he's going to destroy everything I said, he
We
stands
didn't get to it.
corrected.
We
All right,
didn't
get to it. Get
All
to
right.
it, bro.
This is why the leader of the faithful, Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, demanded
Excellent.
his well-known conditions be met by the Christians.
Okay.
These conditions that ensured their continued humiliation, degradation, and disgrace. So
Sure.
ongoing humiliation, degradation, and disgrace. The scholars of Hadith narrated from Abd al-Rahman that he said, I recorded for Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, in terms of the treaty of peace he conducted with the Christians of Asham.
Okay.
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, this is a document to the servant of Allah, Umar. This is the document that they were required to have for the agreement. This is a document to the servant of Allah, Umar, the leader of the faithful, from the Christians of such and such city. When you Muslims came to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion. So they're requesting safety. We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, or a sanctuary for a monk, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims. We will not prevent any Muslim from resting in our churches, whether they come by day or night, and we will open the doors of our houses of worship for the wayfarer and passerby. Those Muslims who come as guests will enjoy boarding and food for 3 days. We will not allow a spy against Muslims into our churches and homes, or hide deceit or betrayal against Muslims. We will not teach our children the Quran. Interesting. We will not teach our children the Quran, publicize practices of shirk, invite anyone to shirk, or prevent any of our fellows from embracing Islam, if they choose to do so. We will respect Muslims, move from the places we sit in if they choose to sit in them. We will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, sandals, hairstyles, speech, nicknames, and title names, or ride on saddles, hang swords on the shoulders, collect weapons of any kind, or carry these weapons. We will not encrypt our stamps in Arabic or sell liquor. We will have the front of our hair cut, wear our customary clothes wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim fairways and markets. We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the presence of Muslims, nor raise our voices with prayer at our funerals, or light torches in funeral processions in the fairways of Muslims or their markets. We will not bury our dead next to Muslim dead or by servants who were captured by Muslims. We will be guides for Muslims and refrain from breaching their privacy in their homes. When I gave this document to Umar, he added, we will not beat any Muslim. These are the conditions that we set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, then our dhimma, promise of protection, is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you are allowed of people of defiance and rebellion. So, short recap. Ibn Kathir here. Ibn Kathir explains how his well-known conditions that ensured the continued humiliation, degradation, and disgrace were placed on these Christians. These were not Christians, but he goes on to show, these were not Christians who said, we refuse to pay. We refuse all of this.
Okay.
He said,
so let me just, before you...
they came to them and said, we want safety. They're saying, we want safety. We don't want to be fought. We're willing to pay the jizya. And even though they're willing to pay the jizya, all of these conditions, they can't repair a church, they can't do any of that stuff, they can't make their voices loud.
You know it's a weak hadith, right? Miskeen.
Ibn Kathir, under the bus again. Let me under the bus again.
Hold on.
Regarded as reliable.
Hold on. First thing, he did not say it was reliable. You lied on Ibn Kathir again. So, no.
Saying Ibn Kathir is deliberately quoting hadith he regards as weak.
Did you notice how he said ru'ya muhaddithin? Right? That's the weakness of his understanding, and instead of asking, he wants to come and prove everything I said wrong and then take it back. Let me just explain it. Ibn Kathir is a great book of tafsir. No doubt we have respect for him.
But you're great.
No, I am not. I am not. I'm not. Relax. Got you, bro. I did not even write a book of tafsir, so obviously I appreciate the compliment, David, but it is not true. Ibn Kathir, I'm a nobody. But there is a great scholar, Abu Saq al-Huwaini, for example, in Ibn Jawzi's. Are you paying attention, bro?
I'm wondering, I had a phone here, that was not mine.
Oh, well.
My earphone.
All right, so stay with me. So there are books written on the checking of the ahadith of Ibn Kathir.
Okay.
Ibn Kathir is not Sahih al-Bukhari. Right? It's not a book of all authentic narrations. It's a book of tafsir, right? Now, it is a very valued book of tafsir, no doubt to it. But as if you had watched my video about books of tafsir, I had explained even which prints show the weak narrations of Ibn Kathir. Uh-oh, David, what happened?
You're still
now, I'm there, relax. I didn't refute Ibn Kathir. Those great scholars of hadith that went and checked those ahadith, they explained the weakness of those narrations. Ibn Kathir does not say anywhere in his tafsir that I'm only quoting Sahih ahadith. He's giving you contexts, he's giving you what has been narrated, and the style, if you had learned, of a scholar like Ibn Kathir, when he sees a hadith to be Sahih, he will say it is authentically narrated. Sahha an Nabi alayhi salam, isnadul jayyid. When he knows that there are weaknesses, he will say it has been reported, as he does here. Ru'ya, and it has been reported by the ulama of hadith. He did not authenticate the narration. If you had come and asked, I can show you the original checking, and I can show you those great scholars of Islam, not me, who showed the weakness in these narrations. There are many ahadith Ibn Kathir quotes and then mentions they're weak himself, right? Because you have not learned, you assumed things again. Right? So this narration, and again,
he says that's weak?
He does not say it's weak, but in his style of reporting it, he points out that there is a weakness. That's why he doesn't say Sahha an Nabi, it has been authentic from Umar ibn Khattab. Rather, he says Ru'ya, it has been reported. Right? Now, if you like to get a takhrij of Ibn Kathir, and we have many, then you can go look at the narration, where it's originally from, and the weaknesses in its change. You're welcome.
Not quite.
Not quite? I just said you're welcome.
When Ibn Kathir is talking about jizya,
okay,
at the beginning of that passage.
Sure. Well, you do understand that hadith was weak. You understood that part, right? And you just went on that big tirade on a weak hadith.
I don't care whether it's weak or
just like your Tirmidhi hadith.
Ibn Kathir is using it.
Well, why?
Because you're saying that what all Ibn Kathir is saying is
this has been reported. That's it.
No. Before that. All Ibn Kathir is saying, according to you, he's just saying that if someone refuses to pay the jizya, then that person will be humiliated and disgraced.
Okay,
no.
Let me explain what I'm.
But then, in order to back up what he's saying, he quotes this passage about Christians who were willingly entering into this contract, were forced to be degraded in all kinds of ways.
Okay.
And if they went against their contract in any way, then they would be treated differently beyond all the disgrace. So the only point is here, you can say weak, you can say strong. The context of Ibn Kathir's comments about jizya are in that context. So to claim that he's actually saying something that completely goes against all his background evidence that he's presenting,
which is not what I said.
Very
let me explain this again.
Okay.
First thing, when Umar ibn Khattab, the same person you're talking about, when he went into Jerusalem, you know the historic reports, right?
Yeah.
You know there were churches there, right? And they invited him to pray in a church, right? You don't know? You know David does this when he doesn't have an answer. I get your body language, it's cute. Yeah. All right. So when you go to the actual historic authentic narrations, when Umar radiyallahu anhu went to Jerusalem, and there were Christians and there were Jews who had their places of worship, did he not allow them to worship?
Sure.
He did. Did he, even when they asked him to come pray in the church, he told them, I would, but I'm afraid that Muslims might take this from you as a place of prayer because I prayed there and I want this to remain as your place of prayer. Is that not right?
Nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It is.
I'm not talking about
It is. So what I'm explaining is, Ibn Kathir, like any other mufassir, he mentions an ayah and he gives you that which has context, including authentic and including that which is weak. Right? And that is why when we want to study how to implement fiqh, we don't go to Ibn Kathir, right? We go to books of fiqh because you are stuck on one ayah. There are many ayat, there are many ahadith, and then those books of fiqh look at all of them and they look at the difference and they say, okay, this has been reported from a weak chain. What we know from an authentic chain, this is what Umar radiyallahu anhu did. That's how we bring implementation. But the problem is you don't want to know about how jizya really works, you just want to take jabs. Go ahead, bro, I got you.
All I'm saying,
all right. So,
period, was Ibn Kathir couldn't be saying what you were saying, otherwise he would not have backed it up with that.
He definitely was, and because you don't understand the style of writing, hold on.
0% chance.
Have you studied Ibn Kathir? You have not.
His commentaries.
Studying and reading are not the same thing. I think you should know that, right? Okay. Have you ever studied Ibn Kathir?
Look, we get down to the exact same problem that keeps coming up over and over again. Namely, we read the Quran.
Okay.
Right? We read Surah 9. We get to 929. Fight those who do not believe in Allah.
Sure.
Hey, that sounds like it's calling on fighting people just because they don't believe in Allah.
Sure.
You would say no, because it really means fighting these particular people and so on, right?
Sure.
And so you have to go outside of that to even understand what it's saying.
Sure.
So fight those who do not believe in Allah, nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden which hath been forbidden by Allah and His Messenger.
I got you, bro. No problem.
Nor acknowledge the religion of truth from among the people of the book, so Jews and Christians, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. If I'm reading that, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued, that sounds pretty clear.
Right.
Fight people until you fight Jews and Christians until they pay the jizya.
So if I'm standing here right now and there's all the Christians and Jews, should I just start going attacking them?
No.
Well, why not?
No.
Why not?
Because
what?
Process.
The ayah doesn't mention the process. Where's the process? Where's the process? Read the ayah. Where's the process?
Abrogation's the process.
Oh, now he wants to jump into something else.
No.
You see this? No. Hold on. See, your hypocrisy has just been exposed. Hold on. You mentioned the ayah, and when I told you there are other ayah, there are other ahadith, you told me if I just read the ayah and this is. But when I asked you the same question, if I just take that ayah as you're reading it, without looking at other ayat, without looking at fiqh, without looking at other hadith, then you would say that just jump out and start attacking these people. And then you were like, no, because there are other ayat. See, this is the hypocrisy. This is why we say you don't just take an ayah and then think you know what it means. We go to the people of knowledge, and that's in the Quran. If you don't know, yasal ahlul dhikr, go to the people of knowledge. When I did that last time with the Bible, then you were like, no, that interpretation, this McCarthy, I don't know McCarthy. This is a hypocrisy, David. Don't be a hypocrite. Be real with. No, hold on. Let me finish this. Look, when we look at an ayah of Quran, no doubt we look at those ayat that are muhkamat, like those ayahs that are very evident, right? And there are those that definitely need the aid of tafsir, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that when you don't know, ask those scholars of knowledge. So if you want to know about jizya in reality and you don't just want to make videos, then come, I will mention to you all of the ayat, all of the ahadith, all of the aqwal, what is sahih from da'if, and the concept will be very clear. But if you don't really want to know, you just want to make videos, you will take one ayah, and then you will say, well, this ayah says this to me, and then when I tell you, should I just implement it, you will say, no, there's abrogation, right? So this is an hypocrisy. Don't do that, bro. You want to know about jizya? I'll sit down, I'll explain it to you. All of the ayats, all of the ahadith. Tafsir Ibn Kathir is a great book, but as I said, no doubt, and I said it the first time and I said it again, and this is not throwing Ibn Kathir under the bus, rather saying that no book of tafsir is perfect. That's why we look at different books, we look at the takhrij of ahadith, and we go to those scholars who specialize in the implementation, the fiqh of it, and then we learn looking at all of the ayat. If you take the ayat by itself, then you would be telling me jump out and start attacking these people and taking jizya from them, but you know that that's not what it's about, because there are other ayat. Just like that, when you talk about jizya, this is one ayah, there are other ayat, there are other ahadith, there are other fiqh from it that then explain the concept.
Okay. Now,
go ahead.
Back to my point. Back to my point. I'll add a little clarification. When we read, fight those who do not believe in Allah.
Sure.
It goes on until they pay the jizya with willing submission, feel themselves subdued. That seems clear as far as the language.
Sure.
And in terms of qualifications, like, oh, it really means people who are fighting you or something like that, then it seems like that should be included in. I agree that you do have to consider other verses.
Thank you.
But
if you take this ayah by itself, then even what you said would be not clear. Meaning, if you just took this ayah out of context, you just took it out,
true,
without looking at historic context, without looking at hadith, then you would say jump out and start attacking these people. But this is why, when you look at jizya and what it's paid for and what are the services received by those who pay jizya, then the context of all of it becomes clear. So if you did that's
the problem I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
Okay. So we read the Quran, right?
Okay.
And it's not arranged chronologically.
Of course not.
But you have these verses like 929, 973, 9123, and so on, which call for fighting people because of their beliefs, right?
Okay.
And you read the context. So you read the verses that come before, the verses that come after. I'm trying to say,
sure,
okay, what is this? Is there some clarification here or something like that? You also have the greater context of the Quran.
Which surah are we talking about?
I'm saying
Surah Ahzab, right?
This would apply to
No, I mean the ayat you're referencing are about Surah Ahzab, right?
No, Surah Tawbah.
Surah Tawbah is Surah Ahzab. Miskin.
What's Surah 33?
33. So it's called Tawbah and Ahzab. It's called both names, yeah.
Surah 33?
Yeah. Surah 33. Look.
Is the same title as Surah 9?
No, hold on.
And At-Tawbah.
Surah Al-Ahzab.
I've also heard Barak for Surah 9.
Surah Al-Tawbah is also regarding the battles, right? We're talking about the battles that happen. Right or not? Right?
I'm just saying.
I'm talking about. Sorry. I will get you the names of them. But okay. So when you look at Surah Tawbah, for example, okay, Surah Tawbah was in the context of a battle. Yes or no?
Well, if you go to Ibn Kathir, it's what led up to the battle.
Okay, so in context about what happens in the battle, right?
Yeah. They were calling for battle against the. If you read Ibn Kathir's Sirah, he says that command was given, and then as a result, Muhammad decided to march out and fight the Romans.
Okay.
But the Romans didn't even show up.
You're talking about Tabuk.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're saying is, when you're talking about a surah, you are looking at the context of what it's about, right? Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a verse, right, the first thing is like the immediate context. Verses that come before it, and so on. Then you have the greater context
historic
of the book,
excellent,
right? And then, in addition to that, you have historical context. Now here's the point, right? Okay. I read the verse, and it's wow. That means what it sounds like it means. That's pretty bad, right?
Okay.
So, what do we have in the context? Well, the passage runs from 928 to 933 or something like that. Okay. Nothing there that would change the meaning. You have other verses in the Quran which talk more about fighting defensively. Right? You have other passages like that. But when we look at how these are...
Okay, but you did agree that Surah Tawbah is about Surah Ahzab. I mean, about the battle with the Romans, right?
Tabuk.
Tabuk, right? What happened in Tabuk?
I think the Muslims went to fight and the Romans weren't there.
Right. So, but why did the Muslims go to fight?
Well, according to Ibn Kathir, because of that.
No.
According to Ibn Kathir, here's the context according to Ibn Kathir in his Sirah, right?
Sure.
So, in 928, the commentary for that was the Muslims were worried because Muhammad said that the pagans can no longer approach the sacred mosque, right?
Okay.
And it says that the Quraysh became concerned that this was going to hinder their profits from trade. We're not going to be earning the same money. People aren't allowed to come here anymore. They might not like us anymore. They're worried that this is going to interfere with their profits from trade.
You're talking about the Quraysh, the ones that after Fath al-Mecca.
Yeah, that's after conquering Mecca.
Okay, so now they're Muslim. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're worried that this is going to interfere with the profits from trade. So Allah says that He can still enrich them. And then the very next verse, how's Allah going to enrich us? Fight those who don't believe in Allah.
Oh, okay, but hold on. Let me
go through the entire passage. Go through the entire passage. We're fighting these people to make money off of them.
That's not true.
At the end of it, He says, therefore, Muhammad.
All right. So let me explain that to you again. If you had actually looked at books of history in Tabuk, there were attacks on Muslims in Sham. You know about this, right?
Nope.
So what can I do with people? All right, so I have a video about Tabuk. Okay. I give all your references in it, books of history, authentication. Watch it, right?
I'm interested in that one.
Good.
Yeah. Send me that link.
I'll send you a link, right? You didn't give me your number last time, man.
If you know